Hello and welcome to Friday. It's currently 4:45 and we are out and about. So, I've been thinking about this for a couple of years, I guess. Um, so we have a decent router at home, right? It's a router, modem. No, not modem. It's a router, switch. It does it's a normal router, right? It does wireless, all of that, right? The thing is, my house, we have the routers in the top of the house, right, the top floor, and the big issue with that is that in the basement, where we tend to hang out more often now, the signal is not that great. So I'm trying to figure out how to remedy that. So what I was thinking was to just run an Ethernet cable all the way down to the basement. But we can't do that because that requires drilling holes into the floor, and I don't want to be having to deal with that at the moment. So, I figured, okay, well, we could try plugging those things into the wall. I forget the terminology for them, but you plug a power. I don't know. You plug like a little brick into the wall. You plug in an Ethernet cable, and it transmit like the internet signal through the wall. It's like wall. I forget the name, but power line adapters. So you plug these adapters into the wall, and like the internet will travel through the electricity by sending like kind of pulses around down the network. And I'm not confident in that work. I've heard mixed opinions about that working, but either way, it requires us to have a secondary access point down in the basement. So in the mail today, my dad ordered a just like a Wi-Fi streaming stick. I think it was like a Fire Stick or something, and that kind of just won me over. It's like, okay, well, if we're doing this now, then I should probably install something in the basement so we get better signal. This way, when I'm on my phone, I can be watching something, or we can be streaming something on the TV, and it won't be, horrible. I know, like, sometimes when we play music on the Google speaker down there, the network cuts out. It's not great. Anytime somebody's running the microwave on the second floor, it cuts out. So it's just kind of an annoyance. And while this could all be solved by just running a cable, either way, we need some kind of access point, right? So I picked up just pretty much the cheapest Asus router that they had. It was this one, just to see if it'll work, right? It should just work fine. We'll see how well it turns out, but it's says extendable, like AiMesh extendable router or whatever. I'm like, cool. I'll just plug an Ethernet cable that we already have running down to the living room, and hopefully that should be strong enough to get signal down into the basement. It should be fine, but that will be something to test out when we get home. However, I'm going to just not go home. My mom is going to the store, and I figured, well, she's going to the store, I can just meet her there. So I'm going to go ahead to the store and meet my mom, and we'll just pick up whatever we need to pick up. So see you guys there. Okay, so shopping went pretty well. After just, going to the store, buying a bunch of things, I think we have everything that we need for next couple days. We didn't end up buying a turkey. We might some point in the future, but that is for some point in the future. So let's talk about the big thing that I bought. It was this router. So the whole thing, we've had an Asus router for years now. Probably, I think 2019 we might have gotten it, maybe a bit before. It's served us wonderfully. It's, haven't had an issue. Well, yeah, haven't had really any issues with it. But the main thing is that the signal in the basement could be better, right? That's the only thing. And I'm not going to move the router. I'm not going to move anything. So we have a cable that runs down to the living room on the ground floor, first floor, whatever you want to call it. And it was, I can't remember what it was used for exactly, but we had a cable run down, and we just haven't used it for anything really. Plugged it into the TV the other day, but that's nothing. So the whole thing is that I really wanted to run a cable down into the basement, but I could not. And I think I mentioned this earlier, but can't drill holes in the floor, don't want to. So the whole thing was to get this and set it up as an access point. This has a whole thing that says like AiMesh. I don't know what the whole AiMesh extendable router, the whole gimmick with that is, but the thing that you can do. I literally do not care about any of this, right? All I want is just a decent signal. So I found literally like the cheapest router that there is, because I don't need all the features, because I'm only using it as a wireless access point. And because I'm using it as an access point, I just need decent signal. Everything is going to be communicating to the main router through accessing this, hopefully from the ground, the basement. I haven't been able to test just yet because my brother's down there with some friends, and we'll be confirming with that soon. But it was very, very easy to set up. I ran into very small issues because I was just being a fool. All you really need to do is just plug it into the router, or you can even just set it up wirelessly. Set it up and just say, hey, I want this to act as a node in the mesh network. And the router's like, cool, I'll do that just fine, and we'll get it working. We'll set it and let it go. So yeah, it did that, and it's just like, all right, you're done, you're set. I'm like, really? That's it? And they're like, and everything just seemed to work. The one issue that I ran into was that I could not change the IP address that this gets assigned. You can't change it once you hook it up, and normally that's fine for it should be completely fine. It literally does not matter at all. But I wanted this to be specifically IP address 2. The router's number 1. Second router, make it IP address number 2. And in order to do that, I just kind of reset it and did the process all over again. And it worked. After that, I ran into another issues because I wanted to, optimize all the devices that are connected to the main router, and then just have every Wi-Fi device that's, closer to the secondary router, just optimize it and just see, oh yeah, what network will this connect to? Will it connect to the main router in the room over, or will it connect to this router? And the whole thing was like, I start clicking, and then it's like, oh, we disconnected from the node here, so it didn't end up working. And then it's as simple as just resetting it, which is not that big of a deal, but because I buried it in the corner behind our wall unit, so it's just a pain in the ass to get to. It's it's annoying, but luckily I can just quickly, if need be, just reboot it, and then it works back to normal. So I figured, well, if that's not working, I'll just reboot each device individually. And so far there are 4 different devices connected to this, which is fine by me. Things that aren't really that important to connect to either network, right? It's just things that are literally right next to this downstairs. There's a bunch of devices in that area, so if they just power cycling them and deciding for them to connect to the network, should be fine. I don't really care about speed for wireless devices, right? If things need speed, then they're on the wired network, so it's not that big a deal. And it should be fine, right? It should be just no issues. So I'll do some further testing tomorrow, but for now, it's, AiMesh seems to be working out for me. Hopefully it'll continue to work out, and maybe if it's like really, really good, or if it's still not great, I'll move this into the basement, or I just might buy another one and move that to the basement, because having 3 separate access points in the house seems like a very cool idea. One is wired and the other one will be wireless, but it's... Oh, I should have bought a power strip for the basement too when I was at the store. Something to worry about in the future. We'll deal with it later. For now, that's what I'm going to call it for today. Thank you all for watching. I hope to see you tomorrow. And until then, later.